Hi everyone, I'm Devereaux Bogart. I'm the Communications Officer for the Maricopa County Assessor's Office, and I am here today with the Maricopa County Assessor Eddie Cook. We're here outside of the Arizona Capitol, and Assessor Cook, you're going to recap the 2025 legislative session. So I understand that you, our office, and several other assessors kind of had a key role in getting a handful of bills passed this legislative session. So what does that process look like?
The legislative process is like that Schoolhouse Rock show, Just a Bill, where you have a great idea of running some legislation that would benefit the public. The assessor's offices all 15 county assessors have always felt like there are things in our statutes related to property taxes that are extremely complex and not clear. So we have set together to talk about and come up with language that will provide clarity and also provide the ability for us to be fair and equitable in this complex property tax laws.
So on that note, I know a lot of the language used in that legislation can often be quite confusing. So let's talk about some of those bills and kind of break down what they will do, starting with Senate Bill 1224. And so what I understand about that bill is that it tackles the issue of a home being sold and the previous owner was enrolled in senior valuation protection, but the new owner is not.
Senate Bill 1224 was about providing some clarity for all 15 county assessors. One of the most complex parts about figuring out senior valuation protection plan is when a senior no longer qualifies, or at least their property no longer qualifies. What does the assessor do after 3 years? So all 15 county assessors may slightly be doing it different. So what we wanted to do was make it simple for all of us to follow and be consistent across the board.
And so what does this bill prescribe for that situation?
This bill allows now for us, when we find out that a senior valuation protection plan is no longer qualified under the program, we now can say we're going to initiate what we call a Rule B on this property to the current market values that we have today. In the past, it was very confusing on what do we do when someone falls out of the program? Do we reset? Do we reset from 3 years ago? Do we reset with the current market? So now this bill, now coming to law, allows all 15 county assessors to consistently reset the limited property value at today's current value once that property comes out of the program.
So on top of standardizing that process kind of throughout the state, why was it important though to get that clarification passed through legislation?
One of our core values in our office is to be fair and equitable with our evaluation. So it was very critical that we get the language in place, which Senate Bill 1224 provides, so that we can look at all this valuation based upon the neighborhoods that the homes are in, so that it can be fair and equitable.
Now, I do know that Rule B process can be quite confusing, so I did just want to quickly interject and say that we do have a video explaining that. It's really short. It's on our website. It's also on our YouTube page. We also have a video explaining the Senior Valuation Protection Program, so if you have any questions, make sure to go check those out. But moving on, I understand that another bill that got passed touched on another of our valuation protection programs that we provide, the Personal Exemptions Program, and that was Senate Bill 1122, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what this bill will mean for Arizona property owners.
The assessors have another program to allow what we call personal exemptions. Those are veterans with disabilities, citizens that have a 100% disability. If you lost your spouse, you can also qualify for this personal exemption. The issue that we had is that there are limits to how you qualify. And those limits, in my opinion, and the rest of the 14 county assessors, are not in alignment with today's economy on how things are calculated. The way it currently is done before this bill got passed was based upon the Arizona GDP. Had nothing to do with housing prices. So the bill was to switch it from the Arizona GDP and align itself to the federal housing index, which is annually being adjusted based upon the economy. So now, having that language change in Senate Bill 1122, we may have more veterans, more citizens with disabilities, widowers and widows could qualify. And we anticipate here in Maricopa County, there could be as many as 11,000 new property owners that could qualify.
Wow, because that's just one of the qualifications, correct? You're speaking to the property valuation limit.
That's correct, because that limit is really low. And how many homes are at that limit right now? They could qualify. So this provides, in my opinion, another fair and equitable approach to allow more of these property owners that are on, fixed incomes to qualify for this program.
And just like I mentioned for the Rule B and Senior Valuation Protection videos, we do have a video on the Personal Exemptions program. So if you have any questions, make sure to go check that out as well. So sounds like that is good news for the property owners. And it sounds like you had a pretty busy legislative session this past year. But I'm sure you're already looking ahead to next year, are you?
Oh, yes.
Oh, of course. So what are your priorities for next year, or have you started thinking that far ahead?
One of the greatest issues that I see right now here in Arizona, but it's a national issue, is related to title deed fraud, where your home could be stolen due to a person that wants your property. It could be a criminal, or it can even be members of your family that feel like they're justified to taking a property, can file a fraudulent deed that could take your property away. In Arizona statutes and laws today, there is nothing that prevents that from happening. And we're now seeing a large number of these kinds of crimes being committed, here in Arizona, but it's a national issue.
Yeah, I've seen it local, state, national, like you said. So I'm sure property owners are going to be pleased to know that you are taking this as a serious issue and looking forward to doing some things to protect them. Assessor Cook, anything else you would like to add?
The wonderful part that we did just recently was our office hosted a title deed fraud summit where we had 100 individuals representing a very diverse community of electeds. We had 5 state legislators join us, and we had a great presentation, great chat to educate those that came so they understand the severity of this issue. And what we're looking forward between now and next session is to creating a working group of all the stakeholders so that we can come together and draft some really wonderful legislation for next year to either prevent this or make it very difficult.
Well, thank you so much, Assessor Cook, for taking time today to kind of explain some of these, like I said, often confusing bills and share your thoughts into what we can expect next year. We do have much more information on these bills and a couple of others. You can find all of that right on our website. That's mcassessor.maricopa.gov.